Welcome to GeekWire from GeekWire.com in Seattle. I'm Todd Bishop.
And I'm John Cook.
We are coming to you on location this week at Postback. This is the annual mobile marketing conference put on by Tune, the Seattle-based mobile marketing company. 1,000 people here at McCaw Hall this week. This is a giant event, John.
It is. It is buzzing.
You were here at number one,
I did go to the first
Postback.
one, yes, and it was a much different feel and environment. It was at Bell Harbor, 200 folks, kind of scrapped together, and now it's turned into kind of the big event for mobile marketers.
Absolutely. So lots of folks here are people who make apps or market apps and are trying to figure out the best ways to measure their users, figure out how the users are coming in and finding the apps, and all sorts of metrics around their apps. So this is really getting in the weeds.
Yeah. We could use some help on the GeekWire app.
We probably could. Later on, we'll be talking with Micah Gantman, the Vice President of Strategy and Business Development at Tune. He'll be giving us a window into the world of mobile marketing and maybe even dishing some Clash of Clans secrets, so stick around for that. Also, James Peng, the head of mobile acquisition at Match Group, which includes Tinder and OkCupid and, of course, Match, talking about online dating and mobile apps for dating, which is a topic that we just know so much about,
that's right.
John.
We're not in the loop on those.
All right. So stick around for all of that. But first, it's our weekly news roundup, The Week in Geek. So, John, I got a chance this week to experience something that very few people have experienced, although many people want to. The first...
Went into space.
No, I did not go into space. It was. I went on the official Amazon headquarters tour.
Which is so unusual that they're doing this. They're opening the doors, huh?
That's right.
All the insider secrets.
I don't know if there were any secrets. It was definitely a little promotional. So the backstory here is that Amazon, a few months back, started giving tours of their fulfillment centers, about 6 fulfillment centers around the country, and the response was really overwhelming. They got a lot of people interested in seeing how those centers work, where they're basically sorting and fulfilling your package, your orders on Amazon. And they then decided to extend that to the headquarters here in South Lake Union, in the South Lake Union neighborhood in Seattle.
They've been very secretive about
they have.
In the past in terms of not telling you what's in what building or all this. So it's a really kind of a change of course for Amazon.
It is. Now, so Nat Levy and I went on this, and it essentially was, this is one of our reporters, it was kind of a little bit of an inside cultural glimpse of Amazon, and they told you about how the buildings were named.
After dogs.
Like Rufus was
the
first Amazon dog. Of course, day one is after Jeff Bezos is saying it's still day one, meaning there's a lot of work left to do. We're just getting started. And there was a lot of inside Amazon stuff. Of course, they told the story about the 2 pizza rule. Are you familiar with the 2 pizza rule? No team should be more than you need to feed with 2 people, with 2 pizzas. And
I'm sure the door desks were a big item.
They did not talk about the door desks. No, that was interesting.
Okay.
It was focused mostly on almost entirely actually on the older Amazon campus in South Lake Union. We did not go to Doppler, the new Amazon building with the rooftop dog park, but it was sort of a fascinating glimpse into Amazon's culture. Now the challenge is these tours are sold out through for a few months. They're talking about extending it and opening up more tour dates, but it's interesting to me that Amazon is now a tourist attraction in Seattle.
So what's better, the Boeing tour or the Amazon tour?
Nothing beats the largest building in the the mean, come on, which is the
Boeing
Boeing Everett plant.
Yeah,
I mean,
man,
that's,
but it's so
that's
cool
an experience.
to see somebody sell some dish soap.
You didn't actually get much exposure to the actual Amazon employees. It was a very specified route through Amazon.
I'm sure.
So it was interesting. Now, I will tell you that I saw a poster inside one of the Amazon elevators.
You were doing some sleuthing. This is exactly why they don't want people like you walking around on the tours.
So the poster said, introducing Amazon Daily Dish. And it was an extension of Amazon Restaurants. And I thought, well, geez, I've never heard of this. What is this? And lo and behold, we got a scoop out of this. This was probably the best result of me going on the Amazon tour. And it turns out this is a new Amazon service they're going to be delivering to workplaces. Essentially, you'll get a text message in the morning that says, this is the menu, but 4 options, 2 meat, 2 vegetarian. You can respond in the Prime Now app if you're interested, only for Prime members. They're just testing in Seattle for now. Now, here is the twist. This is extremely similar to a service called Peach, which many people in the Seattle startup community are familiar with. Peach was started in 2014 by 3 former Amazon employees. Amazon was essentially their first customer, and now you have Amazon basically taking on this very small startup, about 40 people.
Warning from Amazon to any people that want to leave the machine. Your startup will get crushed by us, right?
You will be assimilated,
yes,
maybe?
Or just annihilated.
We'll see how this plays out. Obviously, Peach has a big head start here, but if you look at Amazon's reach...
Yeah, how many Prime members are there?
Right. There's tens of millions. And if you look at Amazon's reach just with the Prime Now app, they started the restaurant delivery feature in Seattle, but they've quickly expanded that to other markets through the Prime Now app. And this is essentially an extension of that restaurant delivery service.
So
it's
scary. That would be scary. So have you tried it?
Taylor Soper on our team has tried the Amazon
Dish
service. And so Taylor Soper on our team has tried the Amazon Dish service, and I actually got to try out some of the food today. He ordered an extra dish for me.
Now, is it developed by? Is it provided by a restaurant?
It's provided by a restaurant. Okay. They work with a variety of restaurants.
Yeah.
Interestingly, some of the same restaurants that Peach works with.
Oh,
just by chance.
Yeah.
And also the price is about $1 less.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they are going after them. It's clear. No, whether it's an intentional, hey, we're going to take them out, or it's just like, this is a great market opportunity, and so therefore we're going to go after it.
Wow.
One way or another, it's certainly been an eye-opening few weeks at Peach as this has been rolled out. It's actually been on the market since June 30th. And it's been sort of under the radar though, and a little bit stealthy.
Wow.
So very interesting. Again, that's the Amazon Daily Dish. It's part of the Prime Now app, and you can test it in select zip codes. You have to have it delivered essentially to your front desk at your office. That's the gist. And you have to establish your office as a legitimate location for them to deliver to. Mm-hmm. So bottom line here, the lesson is...
Just make sure you have a business that can be protected in some way. It doesn't seem like there's that much... technology driving the business. Is all about
it's a simple technology.
Yeah, simple technology, and it's kind of the marketing of it. And when you go up against a gigantic company that has tens of millions of users that they can market it to, that's a tough position to be in. But the startups thrive on this, and this is what part of the game is about. So
this is the moment for Peach to prove whether it has it to go the long haul. And so this is essentially forcing their hand in a lot of ways. It's going to be very fascinating to see how it plays out. All right, we will be right back talking about the ins and outs of mobile apps, how people find them, and also some Clash of Clans insights. You're listening to GeekWire from Postback at McCaw Hall. We're here at the big Tune Mobile Marketing Conference, and we'll be right back on GeekWire on GeekWire Radio 97.3 FM. Welcome to GeekWire. We are on location this week at Postback, the mobile marketing conference at McCaw Hall put on by Tune, the mobile marketing company based here in Seattle. From GeekWire.com, I'm Todd Bishop.
And I'm John Cook.
And we're pleased to be joined this week by Micah Gantman. He is the Vice President of Strategy and Business Development at Tune. Welcome to the show, Micah.
Thanks, guys.
You
Really
must be busy.
Here.
You got
it's a busy
thousand
week
of your
for
closest friends here, right?
I know.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. It's Tune Week for us, so we do a lot of internal things on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All of our clients and partners, we have 1,000 this year, come in on Wednesday night. Thursday, Friday is Postback, why we're here today. It's a great week.
And the parties just keep going. I heard there was already a luau down at Shilshol. There's a surprise musical guest tonight.
Yeah, it should
a boat
be pretty
cruise tomorrow. You guys know how to have a good time.
We do. We have a unique culture here at Tune. We try to do things a little bit different. We're a very unorthodox company. Most importantly, we want to connect everybody, show everybody a good time, and what Seattle's all about.
Speaking of doing things a little bit different, we have some audio of a performance, literally a performance that took place this morning at the Tune Postback conference. Let's listen to a little bit of that audio right now. And here's where you suspend disbelief. We're going to add a little bit later. All right, so that was a tribute to Hamilton featuring, as luck would have it, Peter Hamilton. Right?
The CEO of Tune. That's right. Who is a former opera singer.
Yes.
He's actually sung at one of our events. You might remember this, Todd.
Yes. The Star-Spangled Banner.
The Star-Spangled Banner to open the ceremonies at our ping pong and foosball tournament. He's awesome.
Yeah,
it
he's
was,
great.
and that was epic. That
It
was
was.
epic. Did
He's-
you have a role in this, a hand in this at all?
I didn't, but I've been with Tune for a little over 6 years now
Wow.
from the very beginning. So my first taste of this was my birthday, actually. Peter sang a very impressive rendition of Happy Birthday to myself, and we share a birthday, so I think to himself also. But he's impressive in so many ways. I think everybody was pretty pleased with the performance this morning.
That was
So
awesome.
let's take a step back. For people who aren't familiar with Tune, what is the company? You're involved in mobile
Sure.
marketing, but what does that mean? Who are your customers, and what do you provide to them?
Definitely. So everybody today is familiar with apps at this point, and I think a really good way to explain what we do is we support probably everybody's favorite apps, right? We are mobile marketing analytics. We help your favorite apps collect data to support their marketing and advertising efforts to help them make better decisions. We do everything from, I don't know how in the weeds we want to get here, but
We can go in the
for it.
weeds.
Go
that's
for
fine.
it.
Cool. So,
Yeah.
so we do user acquisition attribution. So we're helping app marketers understand the source of their installs, right? So how are customers finding their apps in the App Store? And then more importantly, what's the lifetime value of those users or customers acquired?
So what are some examples of maybe some popular apps that we all know that are using these
Sure.
technologies to do their jobs better?
Probably all your favorite gaming apps, but we also work a lot in the travel verticals, the dating verticals. You guys had James Peng from the Match Group on earlier today. He's one of our really good friends and one of our customers. Supercell Games is probably Clash Royale, Clash of Clans. I think everybody today knows those games.
I was told to ask you a little bit about Clash of Clans. Micah, can you go into detail about what this game means to you?
It means a lot to me.
Explain.
Yeah, I mean, the guys at Supercell, we're good friends with them. When Lucas Brown, our co-founder, and I moved down to San Francisco to open up that office, we didn't have all the resources to support the largest gaming companies in the world. We were going after Electronic Arts and Kabam Games, and so when Supercell showed up and signed up and wanted to work with us, we didn't know who they were. And at the time, they had one game. We didn't do our best of supporting everybody as we were growing our team. When we moved to San Francisco, we found ourselves in a shared startup space. And at the desks next to us happened to be Supercell's marketing department that they had in San Francisco. That enabled us to really become friends with these guys, get to know who they are as human beings, play their games. As I was trying to sell them to use Tune technology, I probably tried to expense about $800 of in-app purchases maybe to say, hey, I'm trying to figure out this game. Let's bring these guys on board. I ended up loving the game so much, I didn't turn in the expense report. I don't know where I am now at in-app purchases, but
I've heard it's pretty high.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm my inside
Did you
sources
get to
here.
expense that
Who
based
say
on your
it's,
job?
I was given the okay on that, but we didn't end up doing it because
expensing it?
I've heard that you have one of the largest clans in Clash of
Yeah,
Clans. Like you are like the master of this universe.
Yeah, I
right?
think at one point I was in the top 1% of the game. That's what the guys at Supercell told me. Since then, we've had to get a little more serious about work, and I haven't been playing as much. But
all right, how many hours a week? Just be straight.
I would say that the new game, Clash Royale, that they've come out with, has taken up a lot of my time. I'd say probably 3 hours a week.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty.
That's reasonable.
You got it
Yeah.
under control.
You're
Not
still
bad.
doing your job here.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Okay.
Right. Tell
So-
Peter. I'm
Yeah,
doing.
that's right.
So I understand. Were you ever made an offer for your clan?
No, they historically with gaming companies that build that sort of cult-like following.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see on eBay or ways to sell your your clan or,
Right.
or the city that you build. Right. I think Zynga had accounts like that for a while. Supercell now. I think Supercell's done a really good job at being very brand focused and building a community that is extremely loyal, extremely engaged. And you don't see too much of that because people care so much about what they've built in that game still today.
So maybe use them or another company as an example of how Tune is working to enhance that experience, maybe drive more users or more in-app purchases,
Sure. Yeah, I think, so in-app purchases is the key there, right? The engagement, looking beyond the install of an app. We released a report this morning, actually, that talks about, on average, 1.5 apps are downloaded a month, right? Not a huge number. So when you do get to be that app that is downloaded, you have to focus as a marketer so much on engagement downstream that is becoming a primary effort for a lot of the companies that we work with. So the user acquisition piece is, first and foremost, right? How do we get people to download our game? But then next, how do we engage with those users? So let's talk about Expedia, for example, a local company here. Expedia uses us to understand that source of the install, but Expedia, what's important to them, I don't believe they're paying for installs anymore. They're paying for engagement or in-app purchases, booking flights or hotels, etc. So we provide the data behind helping them better target and better understand those user segments or those customer segments to more efficiently get their customer base to spend in-app.
This is great. We're talking with Micah Gantman. He is Vice President of Strategy and Business Development at Tune. We're at the Postback Conference, Tune's mobile marketing event here at McCaw Hall in Seattle this week. And we'll have much more around the corner on GeekWire on GeekWire Radio 97.3 FM. Welcome to GeekWire from GeekWire.com in Seattle. I'm Todd Bishop.
And I'm John Cook.
We are on location this week at Postback, the big mobile marketing conference presented by Seattle-based mobile marketing technology company Tune. And we're here with one of the attendees. We're talking with James Peng. He is the head of mobile acquisition at Match Group, the online dating giant that includes brands such as Tinder, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, and Match. So James, you're involved with mobile acquisition. In other words, all about getting users to use the mobile apps that are part of the Match Group. Tell us about your job. What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, my job is to get people to, get the app in front of people. And so, if you're looking to, you're the right person that's in the right ages to date, then, I really want you to be using my apps.
You seem to be doing pretty well, because how many users do you have throughout the Match Group properties?
Yeah, so we last noted that we have 59 million monthly users across our properties.
Mainly single young folks. So you
Hopefully
hope.
single.
Hope they're all single.
Yeah, not
That's
always.
a different site, John.
Not
Different
always.
site.
Not always. But I wonder what percentage of the single population you have on the sites.
Yeah, so it's actually a very small percentage because the market's really big out there, and that's why we believe in that this is such a big opportunity. That's why we think that even though we seem to have every dating app under the sun, but we really don't. We're just scratching the surface.
So talk about, just generally speaking, dating and how that has evolved. I mean, when I'm going to date myself here a little bit, but when I was coming up, you had to do it the old-fashioned way: go out into a bar, meet somebody. There were no mobile phones. Just how
you didn't meet people at church, John?
No, I didn't. Not like you. But
That's the old-fashioned
how
way.
has that evolved in terms of just the acceptance of connecting with people either online or on a phone?
Yeah, I think it's changed so much. I mean, it's suddenly not taboo anymore. I've heard a lot of friends recently that got married and met through Tinder, and if even a few years ago that would have been totally taboo, and we would never speak about it.
Right.
So I think just Tinder's really single-handedly changed the way and just made it really accepted to meet people any different way, to interact with people differently anywhere you are in the world at any time. So it's just taking away that friction of meeting people.
Yeah. How is you have Tinder and Match and OkCupid? How is Tinder different from the other properties? Who's on Tinder versus Match versus OkCupid? How do you separate those?
Yeah, sure. So Match is a 20-year-old brand, and the way I look at Match is there for you anywhere, any phase you are of your life. So Match is kind of a jack of all trades. We have different brands like OkCupid, which is a little bit more for your, younger professionals, younger 20s or maybe and late teens. Tinder's for definitely a much more casual, easy to use, low friction app. It spans age ranges, tends to be a lot younger. Match's demographic does tend to be a little bit on the older side, late 20s to 30s.
It seems like Match, at least in its market positioning, is a little bit more about lasting relationships. And for better or worse, Tinder has that reputation as the hookup app. Short-term relationships, I guess.
Although James says there are people that have been married.
That's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of a misnomer in terms of those apps?
I think the bottom line is it's all up to how you end up using it, and that's definitely evolved. If you look at, I think Match's reputation has been, if you're on here, you're paying probably too, so there's an intent there. You're probably not going to be, screwing around for the most part if you are, and you're beginning to get to the point if you're paying for Match. Whereas Tinder, there's no cost to use it for all users. You can just it's so easy to get started. and you can use it to meet friends, or to just travel and have new relationships.
Yeah, that's interesting. So not only has the dating scene made the transition to digital, but you've also seen this follow-up transition from desktop and the web to mobile, which is obviously your big focus. Do you see changes in the user patterns as people go from traditional web browser, Match.com was the original name of that property, to more of a mobile app? And does that change the way they interact with people on the service when they go to mobile?
Yeah, good question. So mobile apps, that's why I'm here in the first place. And
absolutely.
The reason I'm so focused on this industry is because mobile apps change the way that you interact. They take different activity, they take different functions. For example, we use location in Match, and that all these things that utilize everything related to where you are, who you are right now, increase your engagement with the app. So for example, if I can, you have to actually have to enter in where you are and what you're searching for on the desktop site. Now, if you can just find people around you, close to you, it takes away that friction of using the app. So we see several times the engagement within the app versus traditional website.
Yeah.
What about safety and security on that? Because if you incorporate location, how do you think about that as it relates to many of these apps?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a concern. Just making it easier and increasing the data that's out there definitely brings up concerns. I think we're doing all we can to kind of protect our users, to make sure our users understand the risks of using apps and how to keep themselves safe. Tinder's changed their profile and strategy accordingly as well. Regarding like what they display on the app, just to make sure that we're as careful as we can be.
So obviously you're the head of mobile acquisition, meaning that you figure out how to attract users to these apps. That has become so much more complicated. There's a lot of powerful tools out there, but sites like Facebook use very complicated algorithms. It's difficult to figure out how exactly to market to people. You got things like retargeting on Facebook. What are the common tools that you're using on a day-to-day basis to bring users to these apps?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I think the most challenging part is finding out the right person at the right time. I think because a lot of the mobile space, you isn't able to even target the users. And the reason for that is because most apps, which is where you find the users on for the most part, most apps don't even know who their own users are. So that's the challenging part, is if they don't know who their users are, how do I find the right users? Well, that's also why sites such as Facebook are so successful, because they know their users so well, even beyond just the demographics themselves. They know what the users like, how the users are connected to each other, and how they know more things about those users perhaps than some of the advertisers. So that's what makes it so kind of interesting and intricate of an industry.
So what are you doing? Are you doing Facebook, social marketing? Are you just trying to get promotions within the App Store? How exactly does that work for you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so on a day-to-day, we definitely we try our best to be everywhere. So even channels that do have less targeting, we'll still be on it because we want to find the most efficient way to get them no matter where they are. But on a day-to-day, I'm spending time across the spectrum, definitely more where the technology exists. So for example, Facebook's targeting is extremely sophisticated, so that's why, and it's accurate, so that's why I spend my time there. Same with Google and several of the other analytics giants out there.
So as you're sitting here looking at Postback, which is where we are this week, we're recording at Tune's mobile marketing conference, Postback. What are the key trends? What are the big trends that you're hearing about so far here this year?
Yeah, so one thing you'll continuously hear me talking about is targeting, and I think that the inventory and the data around like where the users are, where the user is going to become much more sophisticated, and that's going to grow over the next couple of years because a lot of non-gaming advertisers are going to come on this space. In the past few years, all you've seen is just games come, but that's going to be one of the big trends. Another trend I have is, fraud is going to be, like, looking at fraud, being much more careful about fraud, having everyone assess fraud and increase transparency is going to be really key as well.
Yeah. This is great. We're talking with James Peng. He is the head of mobile acquisition at Match Group. We're here at Postback, the mobile marketing conference put on by the Seattle company Tune here at McCaw Hall in Seattle. And we'll be right back with much more on GeekWire on GeekWire Radio 97.3 FM. Welcome back. We are on location this week at Postback, the mobile marketing conference presented by Tune, the mobile marketing company based here in Seattle. This is a big show, John.
Yes. And a fun show. There's a lot of activity here.
We're here at McCaw Hall, and our guest is James Peng. He is the head of mobile acquisition at Match Group. We're talking about trends in mobile dating apps. And one of the apps in the Match Group portfolio, not everybody may know this, but Tinder is one of the big apps that's owned by Match Group. So how has Tinder changed the game for dating, especially as you look at mobile trends as you focus on, James?
Yeah, so I think in the past few years, the biggest theme is that, Tinder has taken away the friction in meeting people. And that's one of the hardest things to do in a relationship. Whether you do it in person or you go through a dating site, it's always been tough in the past. So this makes it incredibly easy to meet people, no matter where you are in the world, anytime.
Is that a good thing, though? Because some of that friction is probably good in forming relationships or bonds with folks.
Right, it has to be hard. It has to be
difficult.
To be hard.
Or maybe it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah. Is it a good thing?
I think it's good and bad. You can use it however you want. The point is that Tinder allows you to make that relationship, and then you can take it for what it is, and evolve it how you'd like to.
So Tinder just today, in fact, this week had a new launch. It's called Tinder Social, and the idea is you can create ad hoc groups of users on Tinder to essentially do things in the moment, and the groups expire, much like a Tinder match could expire. So what's the overall drive here in terms of groups? Is this about group dating or is it about something else?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's necessarily just group dating. It's groups meeting groups. So if you want to put your crew together and meet other people to hang out with, that's the point of Tinder Social. I think it's to get beyond that. It's not just completely all about dating. Tinder's much more than just pure dating. It's relationships.
Yeah.
So we could get a group together to go to the Mariners game or go out for a night of
it sounds like
or what have you.
That's sort of
idea.
what they're pitching it as. It's a little bit more of a social network and using the Tinder platform to connect people, even if it's not necessarily for a relationship. I mean, it's essentially an expansion of the Tinder brand as they're pitching it.
Yeah, and a little bit different than a site that we've written about in the past. I think you may remember Grouper. This was hot for a little while.
Yep.
We sent our single reporter, Taylor Soper, out on a few Grouper dates to review the service.
He's got such a difficult job.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. But I like this idea and where this is headed in terms of expanding either whether it's Match or Tinder into this new world of making connections with other people. It might be for business, it might be for pleasure, but it seems like there's a big opportunity there. Wouldn't you agree, James?
Absolutely. I think, again, this is the same struggle that we have, even just meeting someone else. We all want to be connected. We all inherently, there's a desire to grow your network, to meet people. And so we're just trying to take that away, take that friction away, make it so easy to. Same with friends. If we go to a new city, even if you have a few buddies, you want to expand. And so, we're offering the options and making it so easy to do so.
The Tinder brand, though, I think I mentioned this earlier, has a specific connotation for a lot of people, especially maybe people who don't use it or who just know about Tinder. How do they overcome that if they want to become more of a general way for people to connect?
I think Tinder, of course, has a stigma around it, but I think that's changing. And I think if you talk to anyone, it's not the hookup app anymore. It's not, people make real relationships off of it. People, make relationships that lead to marriage or great friendships. That's true, I think, anywhere around the world.
That's great.
Speaking around the world, what have you noticed about the different characteristics based on countries that your users are in? Do you notice differences from Asia or Europe to North America and how they use the different apps?
Absolutely. I think dating still has different stigmas in different countries. And for example, in Japan, it's very taboo. I think that might be because it's in early stages, but still,
it's taboo to use online dating or a mobile app to find a mate. Yeah.
Exactly, and people don't want other people to know that they're on dating apps. And maybe it's right now, but I think it'll still be present there for quite a while. So I think it's definitely a lot of cultural aspects that you need to be very conscious of.
And then do you design the apps differently based on those taboos or those certain cultural
to make people more
norms?
Comfortable with the idea?
We don't necessarily have those kind of custom design features, but I'd say we definitely take that into account. We make an app that's relevant for everyone at the same time. We try to make something that fits all, but I'd say that's a huge factor to consider.
Yeah. So we're here at Postback, the mobile marketing conference presented by Tune here in Seattle. This is a giant event. Is this your first year, or have you been in years past?
I've been here for this is fourth time. So
what kinds of people do you meet here, and what kinds of connections do you make?
Yeah, so Postback's awesome because it has, essentially our mobile marketing industry. This is the heart of it. You'll find, vendors that do provide third-party services, tracking, provide media, other buyers to network with. Got everyone you want to meet here in the mobile marketing space.
Yeah. Okay, good. So what would be your pitch on Match Group if somebody were to meet you at a cocktail party? How would you present the company to them, and what would you tell them it's about?
Yeah, so Match Group is about, again, giving you the right product for no matter what stage in life you're at. If you're looking to make relationships, doesn't matter if you're kind of, younger, on the younger side, on the older side, maybe, looking to get back in the game, we've got the right product for you. That's the point of why we have different different products for you to use. They all have different attitudes, different personalities, and it's about finding the right one. So hopefully we'll surface that to you, and hopefully you'll find valuable relationships through us. That's what we aim to do.
That's great. James Peng, the head of mobile acquisition at Match Group. Thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you guys.
All right. Until next. All right. That's a wrap from Postback. Until next week, I'm Todd Bishop.
And I'm John Cook.
We'll talk to you next time on GeekWire.